Short track racing has a long history in rural Virginia and North Carolina, and tonight we're taking a closer look at where the sport is headed.
Senior reporter Joe DeShiel visited South Boston Speedway this week as the track prepares for an important stop on the Smart Modified Tour.
South Boston Speedway is preparing for the start of the racing season with what it calls a crown jewel of competition. Track officials and race teams hope to fill the bleachers for the King of the Modifieds event and continue building on the rich tradition of short track racing in the region.
A day of testing at South Boston Speedway included short track standout Burt Myers and his 16-year-old son Slate. Both will be driving on Saturday as the Smart Modified Tour makes its latest stop in Southside.
Man, I've been coming here since probably 1990, watching races. Started in '94, so yeah, I've been coming here a long time.
And some of the best stock car racers that, in the country grew up cutting their teeth and racing right here at South Boston Speedway. So we learned that if you could do well at South Boston, you could go pretty much anywhere in the country and be successful.
South Boston Speedway held its first race in August 1957, and the early stars of NASCAR competed here. This footage is from May 1971, when NASCAR Hall of Famer Benny Parsons claimed his first Cup Series victory.
This is a cathedral of NASCAR racing. It started here, and that's what's so exciting about it.
State Senator Bill Stanley is the co-owner of a race team with former NASCAR driver Hermie Sadler. He's introduced legislation in the General Assembly that would make Virginia racetracks more competitive financially. And during a podcast he hosted this week, he described the micro-targeting techniques he borrowed from his political campaigns to identify race fans and deliver text messages encouraging them to buy tickets for Saturday's race.
If we can apply that not just for this race or this racetrack, but also the racetracks around North Carolina, South Carolina, Virginia, where you race, where the Smart Series races, we can bring more people, more fans, grow more fans, and do a lot better for these local racers.
A handful of short tracks, including Martinsville, Bristol, and Richmond, remain on the NASCAR Cup Series schedule, but many of the tracks around the country have struggled financially.
A lot of it's done by pure heart and gut because, they've lived it and they want to see it succeed.
And to make sure it succeeds, supporters of grassroots racing hope to win over a new generation of fans.
You can pull for a guy that's out here racing on the racetrack, and you might see him at the hardware store on Wednesday. So fans can relate to that.
You take these grassroots racers, a lot of them are 9-to-5 workers, blue collar, and you put them out here and showcase them to people who are like them, and you can really get your emotional energy behind that.
Friday's schedule includes practice and qualifying, with racing to follow on Saturday at South Boston Speedway.
And there's a full schedule of short track racing ahead at more than a dozen tracks across the state. In South Boston, Joe DeShiel, WDBJ 7.